But for the following, let me switch off my video so that okay. So I'm going to talk about Hydraform houses that we've been piloting here in Mali last year, whereby we've constructed 57 houses and now building several others on IDP and the refugee settlements. If you can go, please, next slide. Then I'll talk about the background of the project, then some of the Hydraform technology, some lesson learned, and just conclusion. Next slide. So as some of you may know, Mali is a country of West Africa with serious security and intercommunity unrest since 2012. And we commonly classify the conflict as a Sahel crisis. In the northern part and the central parts of Mali, where we were based, we have a lot of internal displacement, where we have about 350 people in displacement. On the other side, you have refugees, and that is in the center, who are being assisted as well. Next slide, please. Then the conflict in Mali, and it's like the emergency is like a protracted emergency. That means some people have stayed here more than 10 years. I mean, they have stayed in the displacement more than 10 years. And if you see the configuration, more than 66% of people live in the host communities. The remaining are living in unorganized settlements, and some occupy collective centers. The emergency houses that you provide at the arrival of the people provide family tents, tarpaulin sheetings, and refugee housing units. Those are the ones that we commonly give. And those houses, they are known to be low. They don't. The durability is very low because of the climatic conditions of the Mali. Under the heat, these houses they don't stay for long. After 6 months, all of them are destroyed, and most of the time we are called to replace them, to replace the same materials over and over. If you can go. So in 2021, with the funding from UNHCR, NRC piloted a project in Gao and Timbuktu. This project aimed at constructing permanent houses for IDPs and refugees. Last year, we built 57 houses in Gao and Timbuktu. This year, we are going to continue. With the idea was to provide a technology that can be technically, socially, and economically suitable, and responding to the climatic conditions as I told before. Doreen, if you can proceed. This is the aerial picture of the site in Gao. This is a 10 hectares. That is 100,000 meter square plot that was provided by the government. You can see several houses. On the upper north, we have Hydraform houses. Those are in blue and white, while the first one, the first rows that you see, they are refugee housing units, which are to be replaced by Hydraform later on. You can go. Coming to the technology, I may say this technology was initiated in South Africa. It's a company based in South Africa. They manufacture a range of machines and products. But the machine that we bought, they are M7 MI Super, which have the capacity to produce about between 1,500 2,500 interlocking blocks per day, which are composed of the parts that I showed, the mixing chamber and the hydraulic oil tank, diesel engine, and then the pressure chamber. Please proceed. When it comes to human resource, we need about 12 people for brick manufacturing. We have 4 people who are in charge of preparation of materials, sieving, transportation of materials. The picture you see on your right, the people being sieving laterite soil. That is one of the material that is used to produce bricks. Then you have 7 people in charge of producing the blocks, and 1 mechanic to take care of the machines in case of major breakdown. Otherwise, for simple breakdown, people in charge of producing the machine can take them. For house construction, you have about 7 people, including 3 skilled labor and 4 unskilled labor. And for houses, as I tell, it took us about 8 days to complete. You can go down. Talking about ingredients or dosing of the materials. To produce these bricks, we need 3 main ingredients, or rather 4. We have cement, we have sand, we have laterite soil, and that is very key. If you don't have laterite soil, we tried several dosages, but laterite soil was the best. Then you have water. Then with one sack, one bag of cement, of 50 kilogram, we could produce up to 50 blocks. This dosage of 17 blocks, each block produce 17 blocks. This is a dosage for one go. When you pour the dosage into the mixing chamber, that is what you prepare. So you take 15 liters of cement, you take 1 wheelbarrow of fine sand, a wheelbarrow of laterite soil, plus 8 liters of water. You mix it in the mixing chamber. So out of the mixing chamber, you have a product that can give 17 blocks. That means with 1 bag of cement, you do this 3 times, and you can produce up to 50 and slightly more 50 blocks of bricks. And these are the bricks, as you see, which have 18 by 12 by 22 centimeters. But of course, we have the frames. We can change the size depending on the need that you want to have.
Fiona, okay. So can I ask a question? It's Amelia.
Yes. Yes, please.
Just maybe because we don't have a lot of time, how many blocks for one of the model houses is that on the next page?
Yeah, I think I didn't put it to have the houses that we built. In our case, there were 2 chambers, one chamber and one sitting room and 1 chamber. They are the rooms. They are the houses of 3 meters by 7. So for those houses, we used 1,800 blocks for one house, to complete one house. Okay. Then we going to the construction. As I said, but the foundation, depending on the nature of the soil in Mali, we're using the concrete blocks to make them solid. And then elevation we're using these interlocking blocks. And with no mortar, as they are interlocking, there's no mortar, there's no plaster, neither inside or outside. So we've one of our houses, the pilot houses that we built, is 21 meters square with 2 chambers. So it has we spent 6 to 8 days to complete the house. And as I said before, 1,800 blocks are necessary to complete the house. So there are some lessons learned from the technology. Some of them are economically related. It's a low cost technology. We've been able to make a cost comparison of the ordinary blocks, and we came out. This technology is about 15% cheaper than the one using the ordinary blocks. Then, as you saw, we've been using the local communities, and it can contribute positively to their income. And in a protracted emergency, like the case you are living in, it can contribute. It can be a very good source of income generation. And you have locally available materials which are cheap. In the case of Mali, we can go. There are some technical aspects and climatic conditions. These blocks, actually, they are stronger. We have not tested. Personally, I have not tested the concrete blocks that we are using, but obviously they are not as strong as the blocks that we produce with Hydraform. Hydraform are by far very strong. They are more appropriate in the case of Mali. Of course, in the north we have regular storms of sun and the windstorms, and these houses are very strong to resist. Some people told us that the houses are very good insulators for heat that make them adequate for the conditions of Mali, in the northern part of Mali. If you can proceed, please. Some of the environmental aspects, of course, they need to be more studied. If you have to compare them with the burnt bricks, this technology may be beneficial to the environment because you don't have to use these the trees to burn the bricks. That is one of the reasons why our donors prefer this technology to other technology that were to be used. That's why. And the waste that I produced, they are biodegradable. There's no harm to the environment. Okay, I think, yes, please.
What are the waste products, out of interest?
Yeah, expect the waste that are coming from the cement. Other waste, let's say the remaining of the laterite, that one can even be used. They can be reused. The remaining, some small stones remaining after sieving the laterite, in fact, we use them as a source of concrete. So we don't buy other materials. So all the materials are really consumed on the site.
That's excellent. Okay. Thank you.
I'm done with that. There are some factors to monitor and control. As I said, this technology requires water, so we need to have water always available. We really need it because as even concrete blocks, we need water. We need to water the blocks to make them resistant. So the availability of water is important. In our case, you had to make a borehole before. Then we need to check the quality of materials, like the laterite that is being used, and even the sand. The productivity of the team. In our case, you had to feed the people in the field so that they remain in the field. They spend a lot of time producing the blocks. Otherwise, if they are scattered, the yield is very low. And we need to have a mechanic always available. If you can proceed. Okay, I'm at the end of my presentation. That is a pilot house that you had built in Gao with the masons that you are seeing in front of the house, and that's it. That's the pilot house. All the houses look like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we've got time for a few questions. I'll just bring you onto the next screen so everyone else can see.
A few questions from the audience. We've got time for I was going to ask a question about the business model behind it, how scalable it is. There's two components to it. I'm wondering about the capital expenditure of the machine, and I suppose, in your view, what the best model is to begin scaling a technology that looks really successful. It looks like it's technologically advantageous compared to everything locally. I'm wondering, like, what the next steps are to tie it into a business model that scales. Are you looking at franchise models? Because there's a lot of training for the people operating the machine, and I'm just trying to think in terms of, is there a route to the private market to creating an organization which runs this? Just like at what point can this go beyond the NRC's operations and kind of, it looked like the Hydraform machines were branded from, so I'm assuming they're a supplier. Is there the ability to integrate this into the market outside of like humanitarian activities and outside of funded activities through like local organizations, franchising? I'm just wondering if the profits are strong enough to support like the back end infrastructure that's needed for an organization, and just if you have any thoughts about the next steps in terms of scaling.
Did you catch that? That was a big question.
Yeah, not that succinct.
Maybe just to focus, PMS, it's Amelia, maybe just to focus a little bit more on the skills transfer and how it might connect to the labour market locally, in terms of being able to scale it up as an option in the region.
Yeah, I think my emphasis is financing and whether there are financing options to put this into the private market, and what are the obstacles.
Is that clear?
Yeah, I got some parts of the questions. Someone who asked the question was a bit far. I did not get everything, but I think one of the things I got is how to scale, the ability to scale the technology. Was that the question?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
and how to finance that.
And how to finance, exactly. Of course, when we start doing these houses, some people were even interested to know how they can acquire the machines, and they start producing the blocks for their local communities, because the bricks actually people like them very much compared to what they are using. In one of the locality, some businessmen asked us how they can get the machines. Of course, that's not that's a positive sign that people can take up the technology, and even if we are not there, they can carry on. The only thing that will be required for scaling up is to ensure availability of the spare parts, because though the spare parts are not readily available in the field, and that was one of the constraints that we faced, because whenever you have a part which is broken, you have to go to Bamako to get them. In the local market, it's not very easy. That's the only challenge. About financing, that one, I'm not so sure I can answer that question. So far, this is humanitarian, but as I said, private people themselves, they are ready to. They were interested in the technology, as I said.
Thanks,
okay. Thank you very much, Linus. That was great.